Hello all, this is Luke from Krill Gaming. Most of you know me as a Splinterlands previous YouTuber, streamer. Now I'm doing content at Balthazar, but I wanted to do more content on my own channel again, starting in this video with Web3 gaming predictions. Now, this is going to be kind of like a similar to my rant videos I've done in the past where I just talk about it for 10 to 20 minutes, nothing's polished, nothing's edited. It's just going to be random thoughts that come to my mind while I have some, generic outline. And if you want to see my polished content, then go to Balthazar. This is just my fun hobby. Like, let's chill out. Let's just talk. And I just like reading people's chats in the comments and stuff. So I don't feel like I'm the best to talk about Splinterlands anymore because I'm not as active. I still play every day in my scholarship account, but I'm not really familiar with what's all going on. So what am I familiar with? Web3 gaming in general. I'm covering pretty much everything I can over at Balthazar. So here are my predictions for 2023. We have 7 Web3 gaming predictions. First one is that predictions... Wow, that's not what I meant. First one is that Web3 games is going to get simpler. Now, what I mean by that is that as Web3 games started, or back in the day when they were play-to-earn games, a lot of them were very complicated. You have to go through crazy wallet systems. You get kicked out of the game to have to go set up your private keys. And it's just really hard to convince someone that's not used to crypto to play in these games. And there's lots of games who are tackling this problem. And then things like Balthazar, we are tackling that problem with our wallet that just is created in the background. You just jump into the game with the username, login, password. It's still non-custodial. And you get to play the game and you can make the Web3 option, an opt-in thing. So Web2 gamers can get that familiar experience. So I think that's going to be something that really helps Web3 gaming moving forward, is that it's just going to get simpler, meaning that more and more people will have access to play these games and not have this huge barrier of trying to figure out how do I be a crypto expert just so I can play a freaking game. So 2023, I think, is going to be big for that. Second one is there are going to be a lot more games playable, but I think still a lot of us learned last year, if you got into, let's say, play to earn NFT games in 2021, you learned in 2022 that you thought all these great games, like I did, were going to come out by the end of 22 because that was what was on the roadmap. What we learned is that games take a lot more time to develop, and most of the roadmaps are not accurate. Most of them are going to have delays. And so even though we have more games to play this year and a lot of great titles that we're all excited about, I still think most of those AAA games with the large teams, with a large scope of a game, the best we're probably going to see from most of them is an open beta, which is great because you get to play in the game and you get to try it out. But the game, I don't expect hardly any of those major AAA titles that typically need 3 to 5 years of development before a full release are going to be out completely by 2023, but we'll get to at least play in some open betas together. Hopefully, Illuvium, hopefully Star Atlas has some gameplay as well. We already got Phantom Galaxies out there. There's some great other games as well that I think we'll all get to play as a community, because part of my frustration with the games I get to play at Balthazar and get to try out and make content about is a lot of them are still in closed alphas or closed betas. So it's like, I get to show you guys this game, but only, we get to do 10 to 50 access code giveaways. And so it's like, I want my whole community to be able to play this game. So hopefully we'll get to see more open betas in AAA. And then those indie games, I expect some indie games to be more towards that full release because they take a lot less time to develop. So number 3, my thought for 2023 is that play to earn becomes more of a niche in Web3 gaming. I think we've already seen this. If you listen to my interview with Bulldog last month on Balthazar's channel, we talked a bit about this. It's not that these games that are a blend between gaming and finance are necessarily a bad thing. I don't think play to earn, even though we've seen a lot of models that aren't sustainable, I still think there is potential for that kind of game to happen, especially, if you think about how many people love to play these pay-to-win games on mobile phones. Why wouldn't you just want to do that but own your assets? So I think, these games that have really DeFi-heavy things is going to be this cross-section. I've talked about this before. It's like people who are into finance and people who are into gaming. Often those are, on opposite spectrums. One's an entertainment thing, and I don't know what the other one's called, finance education, whatever you want to call it. There is a crossover between some of those audiences. But I think for the most part, if you're talking to, players of Fortnite, players of League of Legends, Valorant, all those things, they're not going to be interested in learning what liquidity pool is or what is, an NFT land, all those things. And so I think a lot more of those Web3 games are going to be looking more similar to Web 2. It feels like in the first couple of years of NFT gaming, people went way far out with their games to say, like, look at this, what this new technology can do. Let's add all these Web3 elements, NFTs, tokens, land, all these crazy things. Let's add more features because that is what's hyping up the crypto community. But that's not what gamers understand. So I think there's going to be more games, something like I would point to as a big time, where a lot of their economy is just in-game, with assets being basically NFTs that are just skins and cosmetics. They're not pay to win. And then their tokens, a couple of their tokens are just in-game tokens. Games, essentially their token, besides one of them, I think, is non-crypto. So they have one crypto token, I think 2 non. So I think a lot of games will be more of that in between, maybe what you'd call like a Web 2.5 or something like that. It's not going to be this crazy intricate crypto thing. It's going to be more like a familiar game, maybe with something even as just simple as like we don't have any tokens and we go with NFT skins. So I think that's going to be one of the trends we'll see, more of this. Let's pull back on some of these crazy crypto things. And yes, that will still be a viable type of game, but it'll be a niche within this bigger ecosystem. And I think we need to allow this space to include a broader definition of what a Web3 game is. If you can't earn a crypto token, but you can still have your NFTs that you buy as skins, why is that not included as a Web3 game? I think it should be. So I think that is going to be definitely a bigger thing in 2023. And I would argue we already saw quite a bit of that in 2022. Fourth prediction is kind of just a funny one, kind of a joke, but I think Web3 Gaming will try out at least 5 more names this year. And by that, I mean, what does the industry call this thing? They need to have some kind of name to distinguish it from just, traditional games. But if you think about it, we've already been through plenty of things. We've gone through play to earn, NFT gaming, now on Web3 gaming. People have tried to do, play to own, game and own, digital asset ownership, gaming with gaming and owning. I don't know, like people keep trying to, they keep trying to get away from this NFT thing because there's still a lot of hate towards NFTs and a misunderstanding of what NFTs are. So my guess is, even Web3 gaming, it's like, okay, that's what a lot of people call it now, but if you just say that to a normal gamer, they're gonna be like, what the heck does that mean? It's not very sexy. So I'm interested to see. I think there will probably be a bit of shift in that in the industry as we still try to figure out what the heck to call it. Eventually, we'll probably just call it gaming, and people will understand there's some games that you can own things with blockchain technology, and there's some things that you can't, right? But I think we're still too far away from that for people to understand what even blockchain gaming is. So expect people to call it something different. I would say probably at least 5 more names are going to be tried out this year. All right, prediction number 5. Sadly, I don't even want to make this prediction because it feels bad. But I do think that at least 25% of the games that we have seen, I'm just talking about in the overall ecosystem, play to earn, NFT gaming, blockchain gaming, are going to die this year. Maybe not hit absolutely 0, but essentially not even in token price, but just player base, they're probably going to go out at least close enough to 0. The reason I say this, if you look at playtoearn.net, I thought it was really interesting. I was going through it the other day looking at different NFT games coming out. And I noticed there's a lot of them that are canceled already. There's about 150 games canceled on that site already. And if you just think of the conditions we're in, yes, we're in a bear market. People aren't wanting to invest as much. People aren't wanting to buy assets as much. But it's not even just that. I mean, who knows? The whole market could turn around. I'm not a market genius finance guru. But I just think that even if the market turns around, I think that there are games, and I'm not going to name any names. I don't have like any, as I say, 25% of games will die. I don't have like specific ones in my mind that I think are going to die. I just think if you look at the whole ecosystem, I think there's games who caught wave of this huge bull market. They didn't have a very good plan for a game. They didn't have a very good plan for a sustainable economy. They didn't realize how much resources they actually needed to build a game and what it takes to build a game that people actually want to play, not just buy up the NFTs and tokens, speculating that they'll go up in price, but to actually build out a game people want to play is much more difficult. And I think people started off their games just trying to ride that wave of hype, and now a lot of that hype is gone. A lot of games have been canceled, as we've seen, and I think that that's probably going to continue in 2023, especially as more games that are good games, better quality pop up. I think that's going to squeeze out the potential audience members that would have gone to these less quality games, because if you think about, my time in Play to Earn NFT Gaming 2 years ago, or even last year, there's a lot of games that honestly, if they didn't have Web3 gaming, if they didn't have tokens or NFTs, I just wouldn't have played them. They're just not that quality enough. And yes, these teams could push the quality of the game further and further, and they have a shot. As I'm saying, it's anyone's game. I just think that there are going to be plenty of games that get overtaken by something better, and people are going to move away from some of these games that aren't as high quality to those better ones. And so I think there's going to be potentially maybe even more than that just stop developing or get canceled or whatever you want to call it. So hopefully not. I mean, I'd love to see every game be successful. Like, I don't wish any ill will to any teams or anything like that. I just think that is likely to continue in that trend. Now, number 6. We're almost there to number 7. Number 6, I think there's going to be a lot more games that realize the idea of selling a bunch of NFTs and tokens up front as kind of this Kickstarter to the game to get funding isn't the only option. I think there's going to be more games that come into the space that get the more traditional VC funding. They're not going to do NFT and token sales up front, and they're just going to either only drop NFTs and tokens within their game, or they're going to wait until they already have a playable game out there. And I think mainly because one of the things that people are really skeptical of is that there was a lot of games people have bought NFTs, tokens, a year or 2 years now, and they're like, well, y'all told me this was coming out in 6 months. It's been 2 years. What gives? So I think less and less people are trusting that. They're a little bit more hesitant, and I think games are going to have to get more probably VC funding again, or be a little bit more creative in how they raise funds, instead of just saying, hey, we have this NFT, or hey, we have this token, even though we have no idea when our game is going to release. All right, number 7, let's get that out of the way. My brain is foggy. I've been talking for a bit here, and you guys want me to wrap this up, I bet, right? So number 7 is, I don't think Web3 gaming is going to go mainstream this year, but I do predict that hate for Web3 gaming or NFT gaming, blockchain gaming, whatever you want to call it, is going to go down. I think as we progress in this year, there are going to be a few games that do break more into the mainstream. I don't think any games this year is set to really hit something the level of, Fortnite, League of Legends, CSGO, all those Apex Legends, those big time games, Minecraft, whatever you want to compare things to. But I do think that they will do enough to show, hey, there are games using blockchain technology that are better than those rug pulls, better than just the, clickers, better just than those idle games that a lot of people complained about a year or 2 ago. So I think through that, having a few games that really showcase, hey, these are quality games with quality teams, we have something to show for it, will help people understand, okay, there's more to this blockchain technology than just selling NFTs and trying to scam people, which is what a lot of people say. And there was a lot of examples to point that out and prove that. So I think just having a few games that can counterpoint to that will do a lot to help hate for NFT games this year, and hopefully open up all gamers to at least the possibility of trying out some of these games as they start to do a AAA full release, maybe by the end of the year or next year or 2025. I think maybe not a huge mainstream explosion growth this year, but a steady, hey, like people can get to understand what is the benefit of this technology, and people are going to be a little bit more open to it instead of just randomly going into every comment section saying NFTs are the worst. These Web3 games are stupid. Stop it. So that's my prediction for this year. Those are just my thoughts kind of off my head that I was thinking about this week or two as I thought about 2023. And so I want to hear you guys' thoughts, your comments, whether you agree or disagree or have different predictions than me completely. Love to hear it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on Krill Gaming. My name is Luke. You can find me in my Discord. Also, you can check out Balthazar again if you want to see more of my polished content. This is just my, I don't know, kind of goof off. Let's have some fun content, I guess. And hopefully maybe even on this channel, I'm stopping streaming for Splinterlands TV if you didn't hear about that. But that is hopefully so that I can at least get back to my channel here and stream for a couple hours a week. And I just miss hanging out with you guys, honestly, on my own channel. So we'll see what 2023 has to bring for my channel and Web3 Gaming in general. But I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. For now, much love. Peace out, everyone. Take care.